I'm not exactly sure what the fastest engine swap there is out there for motorcycles, but maybe we can beat it. I haven't done many engine swaps in the past. I've only done one, actually, with my old DRZ, and I know I didn't take my time with that one, but it still took me a couple of days, really, of honest work in swapping those engines out. And if you saw the last episode with this CT70, you may have noticed that I put in a lot of work to the clutch, all for nothing, and found out pretty shortly after that that the gearbox is trashed. Thankfully, though, this was an engine swap already, and we're just going to replicate that over again with a brand new Lifan 140cc engine. So the reason I think this is going to be the fastest engine swap ever is because the frame basically just sits on the engine. It's really simple, and it's literally held on with 2 bolts. That's about it, besides some other small things. So the oil cooler will have to be disconnected down there, the intake and the carb will have to be taken off, the clutch cable, just little tiny things like that. But in total, it's like half a dozen bolts and it'll drop right out. Reverse process and installing should be pretty easy. That might take a little bit of time because we have to jack it up and get it fitted and get the bolts in and get things started. But once that's all done, just tighten up again 6 bolts or so, and we should be good to go. So because this should be a pretty straightforward and pretty quick process, I figure why not time myself and see exactly how long this thing takes. So I'll have the stopwatch going, and we will take out the engine first of all and see how long that process takes. I will admit I've already taken a little bit of a head start here. I got this side cover off so I can get the sprocket and the chain. That's all apart and out of the way. The shifter is also off there. And then on the other side here, I also went ahead and took off the rear brake lever. And I don't think that's strictly necessary. It might have been in the way, it might not have, but I wanted to take it off anyway because it was one of the parts that's still pretty rusty. And so I wanted to take that off, get it sanded, and get it primed, and get it painted. But in either case, we will get this off, see how long it takes for me to get just a rolling frame, basically. And then we'll open up this box and take a look at what we have. We'll do an unboxing in a while, but you can see here, this is a Lifan 140, and this is the engine number. You can see 1P55FMJ, which we can see also matches right there, 1P55FMJ. And that way I'm replacing with an exact duplicate. I will know for a fact that the exterior bits, the intake, the pegs, the wiring, the oil cooler, all of that will fit up nicely and I won't have any troubles with fitment. And speaking of duplicates, I'm hoping that I can utilize some of the stuff that's already in here so I don't have to worry about that, like the wiring in particular. I'm hoping that I can just keep the coil in there and just use this one that's existing. I will have to unplug the wiring that comes into this and then into the new one, but I'm hoping that I don't have to go through the trouble of taking off the gas tank, fishing this out, and then getting all the wiring. I'm hoping I can kind of work from the bottom up. Once the engine is out of the way, then I should be able to fish up in there and find just the connectors to this and then just connect those up before I put in the new engine and just kind of tuck it all up in there. And that should make my life a little bit easier, but fingers crossed. All right, time-lapse time for transparency. It is now 5:26, but we'll also do the timer as well. So I got my timer here. Let's get started. It's a good thing I don't care about this thing. We did it! It says 17:14 on the GoPro. Maybe a little bit less than that in actual time, but we did it! Alright, 5:44. 17:40. is what it says in that. Give or take a minute of prep and floundering, if we're honest. But not bad for, like, you know, in range of 15 minutes. Like, if I really tried, I could have gotten that in 15, but not bad. All right, let's take a minute and do an unboxing. Probably should have done this first. So this is a full kit. It should have everything that you need minus the battery, so it would just be running off of the stator, but it would be able to do that with all the components in here. And so it looks like we got a few things. We got a CDI with a different connector there that's not going to match our wiring harness, but again, I'm trying to utilize this existing stuff. Easy to understand instructions. Brand new shifter, Kickstarter. Here's the coil. Basic wiring harness, again, just to make it run off of the motor itself without battery connections. Let's see the main enchilada. Nice. So it's got the breather hose. It's got the electrical connectors right here, which should plug and play with the Trail Buddy harness that we already have. Little inspection thing. Date of manufacture, June 13th, 2022. So this is actually, you know, fairly recent, within the last year. Inspector number 6 looked at this one, apparently. Thanks, Inspector number 6. I hope you did a good job. Besides the engine, in the corner here is the rest of the intake system. We got the carb. And then to wrap up the intake, we also have the air filter, which looks like basically just a uni filter knockoff. All right, cool. We have a full engine and complete and ready to go with all the parts available. Even has a spark plug sitting on the engine. So let's keep going with the process. We'll pull this one out and get that ready to go. All right, now time for part 2. Got the engine set, ready to go. It is 6:20 right now. And we will reset. Let's go. Dang it. I promise I was working on it fully in one time frame, but the battery on this thing, or it overheated, whatever, I don't know. I looked up and at some point it was dead, not filming anymore. So yes, it is 7:39 right now, but I hit the stopwatch when I finished, I promise, and it was 47 minutes, 20 seconds just. So in that 47 minutes, we have a brand new engine, although it looks pretty similar to what we had previously. Although this one is just different colored. It's actually got 3 colors, which is a little annoying. I'm gonna try to ignore that, but I actually do like the fact that this cover and the main engine case matches the paint color almost exactly. It's actually really nice. Not sure when the GoPro crapped out, but in addition to actually putting it on the frame, I think it was still filming at that point, I have attached the chain and adjusted everything here. I've also added the pegs underneath, shifter. On the other side, we have the exhaust on, we have the kickstand, and we have the full brake assembly, nice and new. Only thing I haven't done is this, the oil cooler. The engines come with oil in it, so I didn't want to attach those just yet because they have plugs in there, but I need to dump the oil before I can do that. And I just want to see if this thing fires off. Let's see how many kicks this thing takes. I know some people have out of the box just kicked it like once, twice, 3 times and it goes. So I'm hoping that's the case here. I'm also hoping when I kick this, it doesn't have any kickback, because the last engine was really, really bad kickback. I'm sure in previous clips it might look like I'm kicking it pretty gingerly, and that's because behind the scenes... Ow. God damn it. Ow, kickback. Yeah, it kicked back really hard. My ankle still hurts, but let's try this one. Let's do it. Ooh, there's a little bit of kickback there. Second kick. Nice. Well, it didn't fire off for very long because it's obviously really cold, but we did it in just under an hour or so, all told, with 2 kicks. And it's ready to go. Not quite yet ready to go, I should say. It's still got to have the oil cooler plumbed in. I got to do break-in and oil change, a couple oil changes, I think. But after that, it should be good to go. Can't wait to take this on the maiden voyage and not have to deal with that monstrosity of a gearbox that I dealt with last time. But until then, thanks for watching.